Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Nutrition Month stays strong with a new way for kids to stay healthy at school. Our Callan Dunlop has more.
Grade 1 and 2 classes in LCSD were treated to Build a Lunch, a program designed to have students maintain a healthy diet throughout the school day.
I created it in 2019, and it's funded by the Child and Family Nutrition Grant, and I have facilitated this program in the majority of the elementary schools within the LCSD school division, and hundreds of families have participated in this wonderful program.
The evening started off with the kids coloring their own personal lunch bag that they would then take to the stations and pack their lunches that they would want for the day.
Well, I got carrots with 2 ranch. I got apples and cheese and crackers.
I got apples, crackers, and milk.
I got to actually help out with the Build a Lunch over at St. Thomas with Mrs. Roberts, and I'm really thankful that I got to help, and I really enjoyed it today.
The Build a Lunch program received quite the turnout. The event highlights multiple aspects, nutritionally, that the children can keep with them as they grow up.
And it's very important for the children to come and participate and help make their lunch, to see the importance of making their own lunch and choosing healthy choices, because it's definitely beneficial for them at school the next day, and they're ready to learn.
The event appears at LCSD schools, typically for the elementary level. Callan Dunlop, Primetime, Local News.
A big annual event is making its way back into the Marwayne Arena this weekend. Our Shelby Clark spoke with a board member of the 11th annual Marwayne PBR to see what's involved.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Darcy Saskew, a board member for the 11th annual Marwayne PBR. Thank you so much for joining us today, Darcy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, because this annual event is coming up pretty soon here, literally this weekend. So I really want to help get the word out about this and just kind of starting off and explaining what this event is all about and what's all involved.
Well, the Marwayne Arena is hosted. This is our 11th annual PBR, and it's a professional bull riding event. We're going to have 17 riders this Saturday. We're going to start off with some pony races to start with, and then the PBR event. And during the intermission, we'll have steer riding for some of our junior riders, and then followed by a second round and then the finals. So we host this PBR event every year to raise money to help run our arena and to help with upgrades for our arena. So we're looking to put new boards in our arena. So this is going to help us to fund that project. So
I was just going to ask what exactly for this year that you're raising money towards, but for new boards, yeah, that will be very nice. Now, for previous years for this event, how has that support been from residents and everyone coming to check it out?
well, the last couple of years we've had it down at the Lee Park grounds because of COVID issues, and we didn't host it in the arena. And the turnout was great, but we really like the smaller atmosphere of our arena. And all our previous PBRs that we've hosted in the arena have always been a great success.
Oh, that's really good to see. And how has that response been so far for this year's event, for the 11th annual PBR event, from people, well, buying tickets or just wanting to come check it out for this year?
It's the excitement's out there for sure. There's lots of talk going. I think it's going to be a great event. We've got 17 riders this year, and we've got amazing bulls, and the guys are working on getting the grounds prepped right now. So it's going to be an awesome time, and we're going to have the prairie dogs play after the event's over. It's a must come event.
If for people wanting to find more information about this event and just, know the details on what time it is and where it is, where can they look online?
You can look at on the Marwayne Minor Hockey site or the Village of Marwayne Facebook page. Facebook pages. We have info there. It's going to be Saturdays. Doors open at 5. Bull riding to start at 7. So come on out.
And from seeing that strong support and good response so far for this year's event, especially after being impacted from the pandemic, how nice is it to see that, people are coming back to support and helping raise money towards the arena and just enjoying this event?
It's great to see people coming out and enjoying themselves and, getting back to normal. That's for sure. So, come out, support us. We could use all the support we can get. And also, during the PBR, we're going to have a special announcement for an event coming this fall to the arena. So that'll be an exciting news.
Awesome, awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a great event. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Darcy, that I may have missed out on to let
No,
people know?
just come on down and enjoy the PBR, and we'll have a booth open too as well, so you can come get some of our amazing arena burgers and come out and enjoy.
Perfect, Darcy. Well, it was really nice having you join us today. Really happy we can help get the word out. And for everyone watching, make sure to go check out the 11th annual Marwayne PBR. I hear it's going to be a good one. So thank you.
Thank you.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for a look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the Border City for our Thursday, just sitting at -2. So looking at that minus mark once again, although still that nice single digit. I don't think we can complain too much as we are now in the spring season. Although we have been seeing some strong winds today. We haven't been seeing too much sun peeking behind those clouds. So probably the first gloomy day we have been seeing throughout the week. But with that wind chill, it's still under that -10 mark. So not as cool as what we would think it would be today. So, still be layering up slightly, having a light jacket on. You'd probably still be good outside, but we've experienced worse conditions in the past, so I think we're looking still at a quite nice day here in the Border City. Looking at temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are kind of following suit with us here in the Border City, with around -2 to -3 degrees seems to be the most common track here. Hitting that 0 mark in some spots with Wainwright and up in Lac La Biche, while we have some -1s with Vegreville and Bonnyville. We have that 1 degree mark there up in Cold Lake, probably seeing one of the nicest conditions. And Edmonton is still seeing the nicest condition with that 2 degree mark. So of course Edmonton is beating out everyone once again, but at least they're just at 2 degrees. We can catch up. Going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are matching with us with those conditions. Most spots around -1 to -2 degrees, and we have some that are slightly cooler just by 1 degree there though. -3 seems to be the coolest, with up in Isle La Crosse and down in North Battleford. So pretty nice to see that -3 seems to be the coolest condition that we are looking at across the region. North Battleford will be going down to a low of -11 for their evening low temperatures. So hitting those double digits, but at least it's not any of those extreme cold warnings making their way across the region. So looking at a pretty nice temperature for tonight, and they won't be seeing a high chance of some flurries. So it'll be quite calm. So it will be cool, but it will just be cloudier conditions. For their Friday, North Battleford will be seeing that daytime high of that 0 mark and not really seeing too much sun once again for tomorrow. So unfortunately, another gloomy day expected for North Battleford for their Friday as they head off into the weekend. For tonight, for Cold Lake, they'll be going down to a low of -7. So a beautiful evening low temperature, I would say, with that single digit. We'll be expecting some cloudier conditions throughout the evening. Aren't really seeing a high chance of some flurries, kind of from what we were looking at last night. And then for tomorrow, Cold Lake will be seeing a beautiful Friday. 4 degrees is what their daytime high will be, and a mixture of some sun and cloud. Expecting a lot more sunnier skies for tomorrow, so that will help warm things up for Cold Lake. For us here in the Border City, we will just be hitting that low of -10 for our evening low temperature, so just hitting those double digits. We will be seeing some cloudier conditions, and then for our Friday, we will be looking at that 1 degree mark, so hitting that plus temperature once again, and we are going to be seeing a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds than what we saw today. So a beautiful Friday ahead indeed for us here in the Border City. Now, ending off the look at your 3-day forecast, we will be looking at a beautiful day tomorrow, as I was saying, starting off the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we will be continuing those plus temperatures, especially 2 degrees on Saturday. Aren't expecting too much sun on Saturday, but I think that temperature will save it, and that will continue into our Sunday, although be prepared. We will be getting some flurries later to end off the weekend. And that's all I have for now for a first look at your weather forecast.
Thank you so much for that, Shelby. Up next, the Saskatchewan PC Party is making allegations of an attempted takeover by a rival political party. The Lakeland Rustlers season has come to a close and they hosted their awards banquet last night. With more, here's Thomas Wildman.
Please welcome to the stage Michael Sheelast.
Rustlers of all ages and teams were in Lloydminster last night to celebrate all of their accomplishments. Lakeland College has lots to be proud of this year, including many ACAC All-Stars, 4 CCAA All-Canadians, and there were some MVP seasons from Rustlers athletics, including Haley Caruthers in women's hockey winning both ACAC Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year.
I'm very excited. Huge accomplishment from where I've come from Midget B, and huge accomplishment from our team.
Janae Varga also having an excellent individual season, winning the ACAC Female Athlete of the Year and the Rustlers Female Athlete of the Year, among many other awards, but she says she wouldn't be able to do it without the help of her teammates and coaches.
It's obviously a pretty cool feeling. It's a team sport, so everything comes with team, I couldn't have done it with anybody else, without anybody else. So, we got Jana, our setter, who obviously can get all the balls that we pass and everything, set everybody up, and she's got all the plays going. And our coach, Austin, he's put so much effort into all of us, and so I feel like he needs some recognition as to how we got here and everything, so it's pretty cool.
The Male Athlete of the Year, Giordano Kikachi, ended the night with a very inspiring speech about his experiences at Lakeland and left with some great advice for everyone in attendance.
It says, ama il tuo sogno seppur ti tormenta, which means love your dreams even though they might become your obsession. So I hope you guys have a good night and thank you for listening.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News.
And congratulations to everyone who received an award at the awards night. Definitely well deserved. It's time now for us to check in with Shelby Clark for another look at weather.
Thanks again so much for that, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. Starting off with our central zone, some spots have warmed up quite a bit from what we have been looking at yesterday. Still, we have a couple in those minus points with Rocky Mountain House and Red Deer with -1, -2. The rest start to warm up from there. Just hitting that 0 mark there in Athabasca, while there's 1 in Cold Lake still. We're seeing some 2s and 3s on the board, and over in Jasper showing off at 11 degrees, seeing those double digits. So Jasper is looking a lot warmer compared to the rest. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are still seeing those minus points, kind of what they were looking at yesterday, as they have been continuing that cool streak compared to our Alberta side. -2 in Meadow Lake, while most are just sitting around -3. Melfort is seeing the coolest condition at that -5 mark, but still seeing those single digits. And then Saskatoon has warmed up and just hitting around that 0 mark. Now going over to our northern zone, they are still seeing those minus points, of course, on the Saskatchewan side. They haven't quite reached those -10s, though, which is nice to see. They are still just seeing right underneath that. -9 seems to be the coolest with Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake. -8 up in Uranium City, and of course we have those -2s and -4s. And now going back over to our Alberta side here in our northern zone, these areas here have warmed up for today. They were looking at those minus marks yesterday, but now Grand Prairie is still kind of sitting at that 1 degree mark. Peace River and Slave Lake have definitely warmed up the most with that 2 and 3 degree mark now, as they were, of course, seeing those minuses yesterday. And then the rest are still looking quite cool, with Fort McMurray at -1, -2 in high level, and Fort Chipewyan continues to be the coolest compared with all these other areas with -7. And now as we go over to our southern zone, they have warmed it up just like we have been in our central area compared to yesterday. Lethbridge is now just at 2 degrees, 3 in Medicine Hat. Calgary is looking slightly cooler, just hitting that 1 degree mark. Banff, of course, is kind of almost matching with Jasper, around 7 degrees, not quite as warm as that 11 degree mark, but still looking the warmest on our Alberta side. And then up in Coronation, just at -3, so slightly cooler in Coronation as always, as they have been continuing that cool streak. Going back over to our Saskatchewan side in our southern zone, they all are seeing those minus points, but the coolest we are looking at is -3 in most areas. -2 over in Yorkton, and Swift Current and Regina are just hitting -1, so haven't quite warmed up from what they were looking at yesterday, but still seeing those nice single digits, and the coolest being -3. We can't really complain. We are in the spring season. We have seen a lot worse than this in previous years, so I think we are getting quite spoiled. And now looking at some evening lows that we will be expecting in our surrounding areas here. we are going back to those single digits for our evening low temperatures in most spots. Provost will be expecting the coolest with that low of -11. A low of -9 seems to be the most popular temperature expected for tonight. And Bonnyville will be looking at a low of -7. So most areas in our surrounding area will be seeing those single digits, and for those conditions, it will mostly just be cloudier conditions. We aren't going to be seeing a high chance of some flurries, kind of like what we saw last night in most spots. So it will be pretty calm tonight. It will be not too bad of a night at all. If you got some outdoor activities, enjoy it, and just make sure you are layering up, but it shouldn't be too bad. Looking at our hourly forecast for our Friday here in the border city, we will be starting off slightly cooler, hitting that -10 right off in the morning. Then as we go through the day and hit that mid-afternoon time, we will be hitting that 0 mark for our daytime high and probably hitting around 1 degree. So will be a beautiful day tomorrow, I would say indeed, as we start off our weekend, because we only will be cooling down to around -5 tomorrow night as we head into Saturday. And as we look a little bit farther into our week, we will be looking at that 2 degrees on Saturday. So expecting some more plus temperatures, and that seems to be continuing on even into next week, so we will be getting some nice temperatures here. Sunday will end off with that 1 degree mark, although be prepared for some afternoon snow. We will be seeing some small flurries there, and as we head into next week, we will be looking at a much nicer week indeed. We're starting off with that 0 mark with some cloudier conditions, but then we start to pick it up Tuesday and Wednesday with that mixture of some sun and cloud at that 1 degree mark, and that will continue later on into next week. Well, that's all I have for now. RJ Smacky will have more news coming up for you after the break.
So today, I'm joined by Alyssa Shillington and Berna Huber about the Spring into Marshall trade show event going on in Marshall, Saskatchewan. So ladies, can you tell me just a little bit more about what this event is?
We started off as it was a vision I had to start a community garden. And we thought, how are we going to get there? So then I threw it out there, and I had Alyssa and another lady join. And we thought maybe a trade show, a daily event, which we have, I think, about 60 plus vendors. And we have a mini donut truck, soft ice cream, big bouncy house.
Yeah.
What else we got?
There's blacksmith demos going on this year. And
we're hoping to get
some dancers.
Some dancers from Onion Lake First Nation. They just started a new group called Rocking Horse.
Yeah, Rocking Horse Group.
And can you give us a little idea about how this trade show actually started and came to fruition?
Yeah, and we thought, well, if we can earn some money for it, get some sponsors to help us out, we could use that money towards our community garden. And so we had our first event last year, and it went very well. And it looks like it's growing this year, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, last year we had about 40, just over 40 vendors show up. It was busy, it was fun, it was an awesome day and event. And we go from the trade show and then into the evening, it's a dance. So we wrap up the whole day with a dance, and people are able to come from all over for that.
And for vendors at this event, do they need to contact anybody to get a spot, or can they just show up?
Yeah, they could come to our Spring into Marshall Facebook page and leave us a message on there.
Or they could also email us at springintomarshall@gmail.com.
Could you give us a few examples of what other tables will actually be at this trade show?
Oh, yes. There's a gluten-free baker. There's Dave's Leather.
There's all kinds of arts and craft type vendors with crocheting. There is paintings. There's all kinds of other.
A lot of very creative people. We were so pleased with the outcome we got from vendors. So a lot of neat, unique things to see. From their own creativeness.
There's also a number of home-based businesses that you commonly see at other trade shows. as well as even some people selling their plants that they've grown.
Yeah.
And I think we even we had one last year, and I think we have one or two this year that for garage sale type stuff as well. So it's just kind of everything goes kind of trade show. It's not one specific kind of vendor.
Yeah, we welcome all.
Yeah.
Could you possibly give us the date, time, and location for the event?
It'll be in Marshall down at the rink, and the vendors will run from 10 to 4. And we have mini donuts, candy and caramel ice cream, or
You like your mini
apples,
donuts.
soft ice cream. The blacksmith demonstration, they'll be, weather permitting, they'll be there, and we're hoping to get, pretty sure the 2 car clubs are coming to show off their nice wheels. And who else is going to be there? Hopefully the First Nation group from Onion Lake will be there doing their dances, and we're hoping to get them to perform around 2.
And then after the trade show is all wrapped up, the dance will be starting around 8, which we actually hope that the tickets will be on sale sometime this week.
Yes, and we also have, for the little ones, we have face painting. Our local library is sponsoring that, and they get kids from the school in Marshall, and they're fantastic. They do up faces, and also a big bouncy house for the kids. And at the dance, we will also have an area which will have glow sticks, chalk, so they can draw on the rink floor like they did last year, and coloring books and crayons and juice boxes for them too.
And is there anything else that you would like to bring up that I haven't brought up in our conversation so far?
For our dance, we're having Slow Walk and Walter.
Yes, Slow Walk
perform
and
at our dance
Walter
this year.
They come out of Edmonton. They're really good. They play a variety of music from country to old rock to hip hop. And yeah, so we're going to suit everybody up.
And thank you to the both of you for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.